Dear listeners, we're back with a new story. Get ready for cheating, revenge, and wild relationship drama. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow in our small apartment. I sat at the kitchen table, absent-mindedly stirring my coffee, my thoughts drifting to the evening ahead. Mia had mentioned a night out with friends, a rare occurrence in our busy lives. I should have been excited for her, but a gnawing unease settled in my stomach. As I waited, the sound of footsteps echoed from the bedroom, drawing my attention. When Mia stepped into the living room, I was momentarily speechless. She looked stunning, but the outfit she had chosen felt out of character. A sheer blouse draped over a delicate lace bra, paired with a tight leather skirt that hugged her curves. She radiated confidence, but I couldn't help but feel a twinge of concern. "What do you think?" she asked, spinning around playfully. "Too much." I forced a smile, but my mind raced. "You look amazing, but maybe a bit too revealing for a casual night out." "Come on, it's just the girls," she replied, brushing off my comment. "We're going to have fun. You should be happy for me." I hesitated, searching for the right words. "You haven't dressed like that in a while. It just seems different." She rolled her eyes, a playful smirk on her lips. "You're not jealous, are you?" "Of course not. It's just," I sighed, realizing I was digging myself into a hole. "I trust you, Mia. I just want you to be careful." "Relax, I'll be fine. I'll text you when we get there," she assured me, leaning in for a quick kiss before grabbing her purse. As she left, I felt a mix of emotions swirling inside me, anxiety, suspicion, and a desperate need to trust her. But as the door clicked shut behind her, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I pulled out my phone, my fingers hovering over the GPS app. I had installed it a few weeks ago, a precaution I had convinced myself was harmless. But now, as I opened the app, my resolve weakened. I had never imagined I would track Mia's movements, yet here I was, my heart racing as I pressed "Start tracking." The map sprang to life, the little dot representing Mia moving through the city. I watched, holding my breath, waiting to see where she would end up. Hours dragged on, and I was growing restless. My mind raced with worst-case scenarios as I imagined her laughing and flirting with friends. Each ping from the GPS sent another wave of anxiety coursing through me. Finally, I noticed her dot lingering in a neighborhood I recognized, a place where our family friends lived. I felt a sharp pang in my chest. Why would she go there? I grabbed my keys and made my way to the door, adrenaline coursing through my veins. "This is ridiculous," I muttered to myself, shaking my head. "She's just visiting friends." Still, I couldn't ignore the sense of foreboding that followed me as I drove to the familiar street. I parked a few houses down and waited, my heart pounding as I watched her dot on the screen. After what felt like an eternity, I saw Mia walk up to the front door. She smiled at someone off to the side, and my breath caught in my throat as I recognized Eric, our family friend. They shared a laugh, and the way she looked at him sent a wave of nausea crashing over me. I glanced at the GPS, watching as their silhouettes moved out of sight. I couldn't just sit there. My hands trembled as I took a deep breath and stepped out of the car, my determination hardening. "This isn't happening," I whispered to myself, clenching my fists. As I approached the house, I could hear their laughter spilling into the night air. Each sound felt like a dagger, twisting deeper with every step. I felt like an intruder, but I couldn't turn back. I had to confront her. With each step, doubt seeped into my mind. What if I'm wrong? I questioned, but the images of Mia in that outfit, laughing with Eric, propelled me forward. I reached the door and knocked, my heart pounding in my chest. When the door swung open, there they stood, Mia, surprised, and Eric, his smile faltering as he met my gaze. "What the hell is going on here?" I demanded, the words spilling out in a rush. Mia's eyes widened, and she took a step back, the color draining from her face. "What are you doing here?" "I saw you." "I followed you," I replied, my voice sharp. You think I wouldn't notice? Mia, maybe you should explain, Eric said, his tone cautious, but my anger flared. Explain what? I shot back. That you're cheating on me with my friend? The tension in the air crackled as they exchanged glances, the truth hanging between us like a heavy fog. The confrontation had left me reeling. I stood there, heart racing, trying to comprehend the reality of the scene before me. Mia's shocked expression told me everything I needed to know, and I felt a mix of anger and heartache brewing within me. Let's talk outside, I said, my voice barely concealing the storm of emotions raging inside. I pushed past them and walked onto the porch, my hands trembling at my sides. I could feel Eric's gaze boring into me, but I needed to focus on Mia. What were you thinking, Mia? I demanded, turning to face her. How could you do this to me? To us, I didn't mean for you to find out like this, she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. It's not what it looks like, not what it looks like. I scoffed, disbelief etched on my face. I just saw you laughing with him, looking like you were having the time of your life. It doesn't look good, Mia. Can you just let me explain? She pleaded, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. This isn't what I wanted. Then what did you want? I shot back. Because it sure looks like you wanted to betray me with my friend. Mia glanced at the ground, her shoulders slumping. We were just talking. It wasn't supposed to go this far. Talking? I echoed, incredulous. Is that what you call flirting? Because that looked a lot more intimate than just talking. Eric shifted uncomfortably on the porch, glancing between us. Maybe we should stay out of this, Eric. I snapped, feeling my anger boil over. You're just as guilty. You knew she was with me. Mia's face flushed with embarrassment, and she took a step closer to me. Please, let's not do this here. Can we just go home and talk about it like adults? Home. I felt a bitter laugh rise in my throat. You want to go home? After this? After everything? I ran my fingers through my hair, trying to regain some semblance of control. Do you have any idea how betrayed I feel right now? Mia, I think it's best if I leave, Eric interjected, stepping back. I didn't want any of this to happen. I'm sorry. He turned and walked back into the house, leaving me and Mia alone on the porch. The silence was heavy, punctuated only by the distant sounds of laughter from inside, echoing like ghosts in the night. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. Why, Mia? Why him? I don't know, she replied, her voice trembling. It just happened. We were talking about life, our dreams, and one thing led to another. I didn't mean for it to happen. Did you ever think about me? About what this would do to us? I asked, my voice cracking with hurt. I did, she said, her eyes wide with regret. But things have been so difficult between us lately. I just wanted to feel alive again. Alive? You think this is what being alive feels like? I shook my head, anger giving way to sorrow. You've broken us, Mia. This isn't just a mistake, it's a choice. I know, she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. And I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I stared at her, my heart aching at the sight of her pain, but I couldn't ignore the betrayal that twisted in my gut. Sorry doesn't change what you've done. Do you even know how long this has been going on? No. It wasn't long, I swear, she cried, her voice rising in desperation. Just a few weeks. I thought it was just a phase, something we could laugh about later. Laugh about? You think this is something to laugh about? I shook my head, the absurdity of her words hitting me like a physical blow. I can't believe you would trivialize this. I'm not. She faltered, her voice breaking. I made a huge mistake, and I'm so sorry. I turned away, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. I couldn't look at her anymore. I need time, Mia. I can't process this right now. I need to think. Mason, please don't walk away, she pleaded, reaching for my arm. We can work through this. I love you, love. I repeated, my voice low and icy. How can you say that after what just happened? You love me. You didn't seem to be thinking of me when you were with him. I do love you. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. But we can fix this, she insisted, desperation creeping into her voice. I stepped back, pulling away from her grasp. I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't even know if I want to try. The weight of my words hung heavy in the air between us. I turned and walked back to my car, the ache in my chest deepening with every step. As I sat behind the wheel, I could see her silhouette in my rearview mirror, still standing on the porch, a broken figure against the night. The drive home felt like an endless blur. The city lights blurred as tears welled in my eyes. How could I have been so blind? My mind raced with thoughts of the past few months, the little things that had seemed off but I had brushed aside. I had trusted her completely, and now that trust lay in tatters. As I pulled into our driveway, I felt hollow inside. I knew our relationship had changed irreparably. The painful decision to divorce her loomed over me like a dark cloud, but I had to face it. I would not let this betrayal define who I was. I would rise from the ashes, but first, I needed to gather my strength. The days following that fateful confrontation felt like a whirlwind of emotions. I couldn't escape the memories of Mia's laughter echoing through the house, now tainted with betrayal. Each moment dragged on as I vacillated between anger and heartache. I isolated myself, pushing away friends who tried to reach out, caught in the suffocating weight of my pain. One evening, as I sat on the couch, staring at the walls that felt more like a prison than a home, my phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was a message from Tom, my best friend. Tom, hey, man. I'm coming over. We need to talk. I sighed, knowing I needed to face the world eventually. A part of me craved the company, but another part felt like I was dragging everyone down with me. Still, I couldn't deny that I needed support. When Tom arrived, he found me sitting in a t-shirt and sweatpants, my hair unkempt and my eyes heavy with sleepless nights. Dude, you look like hell, he said, taking a seat across from me. What's going on? I'm just processing everything, I replied, my voice low. I don't even know where to start. Tom leaned forward, concern etched across his face. You need to talk about it. It's better than bottling it up. I ran my fingers through my hair, frustration bubbling to the surface. Mia cheated on me, Tom. With Eric. Our family friend. How do you process that? He shook his head, disbelief evident in his eyes. I can't believe Eric would do something like that. He knows you two are together. What the hell was he thinking? I don't know, I muttered, clenching my fists. But it doesn't matter. I'm the one left with the wreckage. Tom leaned back, crossing his arms. So, what's the plan? Are you going to confront her again? Or are you thinking about divorce? I took a deep breath, the weight of the decision pressing down on me. I think I have to get a lawyer. I can't just sit here and let this go on. Dude, you deserve better than this, Tom said, his voice firm. You need to show her that there are consequences for her actions. I nodded, a sense of resolve washing over me. You're right. I can't let her get away with this. I need to expose her. Expose her. Tom raised an eyebrow, concern replacing his earlier bravado. How do you plan to do that? I'll gather evidence, text messages, photos, anything I can find. I want to confront them both publicly, make sure they understand the impact of their choices, I said, my voice steady. Just be careful, man. Revenge can turn ugly, Tom warned, his expression serious. Maybe so, but I can't let this slide. I can't let them think they got away with it, I replied, my anger rekindling. Tom nodded slowly, weighing my words. All right, but just remember, your goal is to heal, not to destroy. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't sleep. My mind was a storm of thoughts, plotting how to gather evidence. I envisioned confronting Mia and Eric in front of friends and family, exposing their betrayal. But I also knew deep down that this path could lead to more pain, not just for them but for me as well. The next day, I found myself going through Mia's belongings, her phone, her laptop, anything that might give me the information I needed. I felt like a detective on a mission, but with every message I read, I felt a new wave of betrayal wash over me. "Hey, you up for some coffee?" Laura texted me later that day. I hesitated before responding. I had pushed everyone away, but maybe I needed her support now more than ever. Yeah, I could use a friend. When we met at our favorite cafe, I sat across from Laura, my heart heavy. She took one look at me and frowned. "Wow, you really look like you've been through the ringer," she said gently. "Thanks for noticing," I replied dryly. "I'm trying to figure everything out." "It's been a mess." Laura leaned in, her expression serious. "What happened with Mia?" "I heard some rumors, but I wanted to hear it from you." I hesitated, my throat tightening. "She cheated on me. With Eric. I found out a few days ago." Her eyes widened in shock. "I can't believe it. I'm so sorry, Mason. You didn't deserve this." I shrugged, the anger simmering just beneath the surface. "It doesn't matter now. I need to move forward. I want to expose them for what they've done." Laura frowned. "Expose them? How do you plan to do that?" I took a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. "I'm gathering evidence, text messages, anything I can find. I want to confront them publicly, make sure they realize the impact of their choices." "That sounds risky," she cautioned. "What if it backfires?" "Backfires?" I scoffed. "What could be worse than what I'm already feeling? They deserve to be held accountable." Laura reached out and placed her hand on mine. "I get it, but I don't want you to lose yourself in this anger. It's okay to be hurt and upset, but seeking revenge might not give you the closure you need." "Maybe not, but I can't just sit back and let them think they got away with it," I replied, frustration creeping into my voice. "You don't have to fight this battle alone, Mason. I'm here for you," she said, her gaze steady. As we sat in silence, I realized she was right. I had friends who cared about me, and while I felt betrayed and angry, I didn't have to face this alone. Perhaps there was a way to heal without losing myself in the chaos. That night, I sat down at my laptop, the glow of the screen illuminating my determined face. I began piecing together a plan, focusing not just on revenge, but on how to reclaim my life. It wouldn't be easy, but I knew I had the strength to rise above the ashes of betrayal, one step at a time. The days turned into a blur as I focused on gathering evidence and crafting my plan for revenge. My world revolved around texts and photos, each discovery deepening the wound in my heart. I found myself working late into the night, fueled by a mix of anger and despair. But with each piece of information I unearthed, a shadow loomed over me, a growing sense of doubt. One evening, after a particularly grueling day of piecing together the timeline of Mia and Eric's affair, I decided to take a break. I grabbed a beer from the fridge and flopped onto the couch, staring blankly at the TV. That's when my phone buzzed again, jolting me out of my haze. It was Laura. "Laura, hey, can I come over? I've been thinking about you." I hesitated, knowing I wasn't in the best headspace. But I also recognized that I needed to talk to someone who understood. Yeah, come on over." A short while later, Laura arrived, her concerned expression immediately pulling at my heartstrings. She sat down next to me, her body language open and inviting. "How are you holding up?" she asked gently. "Not great," I admitted, taking a swig from my beer. "I've been digging up dirt on Mia and Eric. I'm almost ready to confront them." "I can see that," she replied, glancing around the messy living room. "But do you think that's really what you want to do?" "I want them to know the pain they've caused," I said, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. "I want them to see what they've thrown away." "But is that going to heal your pain?" Laura asked, her voice steady. "Are you sure revenge is the answer?" I sighed, feeling my resolve wavering. What else can I do? Just sit back and pretend everything's okay. Mason, you need to focus on yourself first. You can't change what happened, but you can control how you react, she said softly. Have you thought about how this will affect you in the long run? I ran my fingers through my hair, feeling the tension coiling in my chest. I don't know, Laura. I just feel so betrayed. It's like I don't even recognize her anymore. Maybe it's time to think about who you want to be moving forward, she suggested, her gaze steady and unwavering. Holding on to this anger might only hurt you more. Her words struck a chord deep within me. I had been so consumed by thoughts of revenge that I hadn't considered the long-term consequences. But how do I let it go? It feels impossible. It's not about letting it go instantly. It's a process, Laura replied. You can be hurt, but you don't have to let it define you. You have the strength to rise above this. I looked down at my hands, feeling the weight of her words sink in. Maybe you're right. I've been so focused on hurting them that I've forgotten to take care of myself. Laura smiled softly, relief washing over her face. That's the first step. You need to prioritize your healing, Mason. You deserve happiness, even after this. After a long pause, I finally spoke, my voice barely above a whisper. I don't even know who I am anymore without her. You're still you, Laura said, her tone gentle yet firm. You have to rediscover yourself, not through Mia, but through what you love and what makes you happy. Start by forgiving yourself for what happened. I swallowed hard, a lump forming in my throat. Forgiving myself? For what? I didn't do anything wrong. No, but you've been holding on to guilt for being blindsided. Let that go. You didn't deserve any of this, she said. Focus on what's next, not what's lost. Her words sank in, and I felt a flicker of hope igniting within me. I guess I can start by reaching out to friends again. I've pushed everyone away. Exactly, Laura encouraged. Rebuild your support system. You have people who care about you, and they want to help. As we continued to talk, I began to feel the heaviness in my chest lighten. Laura's presence was a balm for my wounds, and her unwavering support gave me the strength to consider a new path, one focused on healing rather than revenge. Later that night, after Laura left, I sat down at my laptop again, this time with a new mindset. I began drafting a message to Mia, one that would express my feelings honestly, without malice. It was time to confront her, but not with anger. Instead, I would approach it with the hope of finding closure. The following day, I found myself sitting across from Mia at a small cafe, my heart pounding. She looked different, more vulnerable than I remembered, her eyes red-rimmed as if she hadn't slept well. Thanks for agreeing to meet, she said, her voice trembling. I nodded, feeling the weight of our shared history hang heavily in the air. I needed to talk to you about everything that happened. I know I hurt you, and I'm so sorry, Mia said, tears pooling in her eyes. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Sorry isn't enough, I replied, my tone steady. But I've realized that I need to focus on my healing, not on punishing you or Eric. That's not who I am. Her gaze softened, and I saw a flicker of understanding. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know I never intended to hurt you. Your intentions don't change the reality of your actions, I said, my voice calm. But I'm trying to move forward. I want to heal, not stay stuck in this anger. I want that for you too, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I know I don't deserve it, but I hope you can find peace. As we talked, I felt the weight of resentment slowly lifting, replaced by a bittersweet understanding. Mia might have broken my trust, but I could reclaim my life without dragging her down further. I would not let this betrayal define me. After our conversation, I left the cafe feeling lighter. It wasn't easy, and I knew healing would take time, but for the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of clarity. The road ahead would be difficult, but it was mine to navigate, and I was ready to move forward.